Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Strife's Sanctum podcast. My name is Citizen Strife, and this week, I'm doing Mega May, yet again. So, not as full bore as I was, because I have the anime reviews in between, but I'm still going to get 2 games in, so it makes sense that I would get Mega Man and Mega Man X this year. So we're doing 4 and Mega Man X4. So, we're starting with Mega Man 4. And not gonna lie, I didn't really go kind of nuts for this one. It has the Buster. That's great. But I don't know, I didn't really go kind of gaga for the level design or the music specifically. Not like I did for, say, Mega Man 2. And I would say it's better, or at least on the par with 3, but I don't think I'm really enthusiastic about it either, so bear that in mind as I review it. We'll do what I normally do and go through the stages and general thoughts. But as far as characters and story, I mean, what do you expect a Mega Man story to be? New villain? Hardly. It's Dr. Wily. It's always Dr. Wily, so why not just accept it? It's always Dr. Wily until it's not. It's always Sigma until for some reason it's not. But anyway, with that out of the way, what does this do that other Mega Man games don't do? The Mega Buster. It gets introduced. And I would say adding a few extra little quirks to level design, to finding stuff like new abilities and whatnot, like the balloon and things. It's kind of fun. You can go back into stages and do things, and I do believe the level design is an improvement over 3, so there is that. Some of the stages are better than others, which is part of the course, so bear that in mind. We'll start with Toadman. This one's not really too crazy. Just a bunch of underwater stuff, fish stuff. There's 2 underwater levels. This is more of a water plant than an underwater level. The trick is that wind and rain in the beginning of the level tries to push you into pits and junk and enemies while you're trying to jump. And then when you're in the water, further down in the plant, you're, kind of screwed while you're walking on the ground, or you're stuck underneath, water pits. Nothing really crazy other than that. Toadman is weird because he tries to use his rain flush ability and his attacks, and he jumps and whatnot, but from what I remember, you can actually screw with him a little bit, and if you're close enough to him and you shoot him, all he does is jump. So you can just Spark Mandrill Syndrome his butt and get rid of him. So he's easily killed with Mega Buster. You get the rain flush ability, which can really screen clear a lot of stuff, which is cool. Brightman is next. Just a area with a lot of enemies with, you turn the lights on and off. Stuff does jumping out of pits, and there's a bunch of spike platforms. Specifically, one area where there's a U-shaped platform that goes up and down to mess with jumps a little bit. It's very reminiscent of what Spark Mandrill would end up being with the enemies that turn the lights on and off. A little bit more intense because it's the NES version, so that's what this one does. This guy tends to use, flash stopper and shots and jumps. A lot of enemies, a lot of bosses try to deal with contact damage and jump at Mega Man. But if you got rain flush, he's done. Apparently you can also kill him with Skull Barrier too, which must really suck because anytime you lose to a barrier, you're, pretty much a non-factor enemy at this point. You get Flash Stopper. Pharaoh Man is shifting sands and trying to jump out of quicksand stuff. The rest of the area is not really too crazy. Some enemies fold out of the scenery and attack you. It's a very pyramid-esque version. But outside of the top area, I didn't really think this dungeon I say dungeon. This stage was all that impressive looking because, you see stuff like Sandopolis from Sonic, and you've seen better versions of that sort of thing with a little bit more intricacy later on in, gaming. So this wasn't too crazy. Pharaoh Man himself tries to do some shots and jumps, but if you flash stop him, he's nothing. You just flash stop him, you shoot him, and he's dead. And he gets you the Pharaoh shot. This is probably one of the best weapons in the game because you can kind of guide your shot in different directions and attack things. It's really useful for certain bosses. That's about one of the few things he's got going for him, is a good weapon. Ringman is next. This is the sky or space stage. The cool thing about this stage is rainbow bridges. And rainbow bridges tend to... You jump on them and they go away. And they go away from where you jump to where you're going. So you got to be fast and not die. Not as many death pit jumps in a sky stage as you'd expect. It's more about avoiding the rainbow bridges and avoiding the enemies on the rainbow bridges. So it's one of the easier stages that I've dealt with. I would say Airman is still like, or like say the top of Snake Man stage. They're not the hardest, but when you have enough stuff to guide you with Mega Man, it's fine. Let's see. Ringman himself, you shoot him with Pharaoh shot. He tries to shoot you with rings. It's a pretty straightforward, kill battle. If it sounds like I'm running through this, it's not intentional. It's just there's not a whole lot of intrigue in some of the stages. Let's see. Dustman. Oh yeah, this one has a crushers area. So this one is about like midway through the stage, you get things going up and down and these little dust things in the middle you got to shoot through, and then you got to avoid getting crushed in the platform. The first part of the stage is not too bad. It's just when it starts showing you the death animation one, where it goes all the way to the floor, where you have to be very careful and not hit an enemy and also get rid of all the dust and to, dash your way through the thing, or, slide, excuse me. Dash isn't Mega Man X, I'm getting confused. But you get through Dustman stage, he starts shooting stuff at you, so he'll go blah, and, spit it out at you, or he'll try to vacuum into you, vacuum into him, words, to do contact damage, because as we've seen in any game like Castlevania and Mega Man, contact damage is what hurts the most. So he does that. Of course, he jumps because every boss jumps, and it's, you shoot him with the rings and you get the Dust Crusher, which kind of explodes in different directions. Useful technique. This is the one that I'm probably going to remember the most and talk about the most, is the Skullman stage. This is probably the one everybody remembers from this, other than maybe Toadman or something. But this one is a cave, like an archaeological dig site, but it's weird. It's like everything is bone, and it's metal bone. How that works, I don't know. There's like metal dinosaur fossils in the stone. Like everything looks like bone and hinges and other junk. You're doing a lot of like walking around the stage trying to find your path. There's a couple of hidden areas here and there off certain parts of the screen, but really it's kind of just the aesthetic of bones everywhere, which is unsettling and awesome, which is something this game sorely needed. Skullman himself, speaking of unsettling, doesn't attack you until you attack him, so sometimes he'll just stand there and stare at you with his Punisher-looking mask, and because he's got the skull barrier stuff, and he'll try to shoot you and stuff, and he'll have a shield, but really it's just the weirdness of him just standing there. But you can use Dust Crusher and attack him. You can use Rain Flush if you really need to. Dive Man is next. This is the standard underwater plant stage, so even more underwater bullshit than the Toadman stage. And of course, there's a thing. You have an area where you can get a secondary item for traversal purposes, like a balloon or a wire or something. I forget which. But guess what? It's your favorite friend jumping into a pit and knowing there are spikes there, so you have to gauge your jump and gauge your fall, and I fucking hate those. Which does remind me, I haven't seen Yoku blocks as much, so I guess that's a good thing. They don't have anything as stupid as, like, what was it, Heat Man or Flame Man in 2, where you have just a fucking bunch of Yoku blocks towards the end of the... There's nothing as fucked up as that. So I will give Mega Man 4 some credit that they're not as fucking assholes about, instant death pits in this game, because they can be, but those spikes are still there just to be a troll. Otherwise, Dive Man stage is the typical underwater stage. He does a bunch of charges and missiles, but you can shoot him, and you get his missiles, and you get to Drill Man. And again, there's nothing, the problem with seeing a lot of these stages being, water stage, ice stage, whatever stage, they're doing the things they've done before. And it's hard to really grasp any intrigue from the stage design. And a lot of the areas, I don't have the music doesn't get to me as well. I mean, there are a couple ones that I remember and I jotted down, but I didn't, other than Skullman, I'm just sitting there looking like, I am not impressed by this. I am not just going I'm not overly fond of this. It's better than some of the design in 3 because they had that issue with losing their data and stuff. But other than that, it's like, this should be interesting, but it's not. Another mine level? Oh boy, there's some spikes in it. Oh boy, Drill Man drills into the floor. That's about the coolest thing that he does. Is he dives underground and tries to wheel gator you. It's like, okay, wheel gator has oil. That's a little more interesting. And yes, I know Drillman came out first, so he did it first, but still. It's like, it's the Wheel Gator thing. If you've seen Wheel Gator, you've seen this, So, what is interesting about this? Well, Dr. Cossack's stage is in, Siberian Russia. Siberian attack, I kill you. And the design of his stages are kind of unique. They're ice level stages, and some of them have ice physics, some of them don't, but I do like at least that Turkish design, Russian design, stuff Eastern European design of the dungeon gives at least something unique to it, which is fun, because again, this is made right before the Soviet Union collapsed, or right after. I forget the timeline, but Dr. Cossack is the main bad guy, because of course he's the big bad guy, because you have defeated Dr. Wowie, but at least for a little bit, it's kind of their way of adding more length to the games, but let's see, we get the Icy Outer Wall, so it's just a bunch of ice physics and climbing stages and stuff. There's Mothraia. You shoot him with the ring boomerang while he's trying to break the platform. So he's trying to pull the Dr. Robotnik and Springyard Zone boss thing where he breaks the floor and you die. I hate that fucking... At least with this one, it's not a one and done. It's 2 parts of the floor, then you're done. That sort of thing. But other than that, he still does try to shoot you, so there is that. Second part of the stage, a bunch of spike jumps. So, spike areas. Oh boy, I love spikes. Don't you love spikes? I love spikes. It's lovely. So, instant death spikes. This is where the game wants to be mean to you. So, trying jumping through all the spikes in a vertical area. That's great. The boss here is the square machine. So, he comes in 3 parts, and you have to kind of duck underneath a little bit, jump into him, and then slide, and then jump onto the thing, and then hit the weak point, and then do it all over again. He also does some shots in there, but, if you just hit him with Drill and Dust Crusher, then he's not too bad. It's just getting to him that's the problem. Let's see, level 3 is awkward. It's some of the level is auto-scroll, some of it is not. So, as you're going, jumping, doing things, you get the old school auto scroller, which I don't think Mega Man's ever done before, and I don't know if they've ever done since. But you get through some of it, and then you do some platforming and some ladders. You fight the cockroach twins. They're just they're climbing against the wall and the floor over top some spikes, and then they shoot you with some stuff. This is where the Pharaoh shot comes into play, and you just shoot a bunch of it, and he's dead, which is kind of handy because you can aim your shots and you get rid of them. Let's see. This one is another mine area, a lot more spikes, and then you face Dr. Cossack, who has this like UFO catcher crane thing that he's in. Otherwise, it looks like the Wily capsule. And he shoots you, and he tries to use the claws. You don't stand underneath him, or you take a lot of damage, but you get rid of him, and you find out that, of course, it was Dr. Wily all along, because why wouldn't it be? So, Wily stage starts, and oh boy, this is where it sucks, because it's underwater spikes. Like I just got done talking about. And the Yoku blocks. This is the only place where the Yoku blocks show up. I love that fucking sound effect. It's so stupid. But I hate them. I hate Yoku blocks. You fight a giant Met. It's called Metal Daddy. His whole thing is he jumps and shakes the floor. So if he doesn't just fucking crush you, he'll summon smaller Mets. And just fly up the screen. You just kill him with boomerang, but you have to avoid his jumps. Stage 2, nothing fancy, just a vertical level. Nothing that I can really remember off that. But this one is the taco. I'd say it's an octopus-looking thing, or it's a thing that shoots balls at you. It shoots fire. It shoots balls at you. You avoid it, from an angle, and you just use boomerang on it. And then the boss rush. Moving on. This is where Wily is. So you fight the ship. He shoots out balls as well. What I found is you can kind of hide underneath him at a certain angle. He can't hit you. So you can just use ring boomerang on him. Wily Machine 4 is kind of the same idea with a little bit harder trajectory. This time you got to use drill bomb in a certain location. And then the final boss is the Wily capsule itself. The trick with this one is he glows in the dark. Like, he flashes a little bit. He shoots it first, and then you see where he is, and you got to hit him with Pharaoh shot. You got to guide it in a certain direction, and you got to hit him. So you get done with it, it takes him out, and, you win the game. It doesn't sound all that impressive. Like, I found the Brightman theme and the Pharaoh theme good. I found Skullman to be good. Stage-wise. But this is where Mega Man is frustrating, because you're trying to iterate on something, but unless you go really, 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 really fucking weird with it, like a baseball theme stage in one of the later games, you don't really get anything too off the beaten path. It's kind of like Mario. It's like the comfort food versus the we've seen it before, the formula. Like, it's fun while you're playing it, but then when you try to, do a ranking or try to remember it or anything like that, it starts to wear thin. So bear that in mind. Like, Mega Man 2 is still going to be the best one, by and large, or at least the more interesting one. But, trying to say that this is, the second best, that's a small comfort, I suppose. Like, some people like 3 and 4, they're kind of gauging 3 and 4, because 5 and 6 probably even more so, and one of them has Plant Man, right? So, Plant Man? Really? I know. I'm kind of waiting for Mega Man 7, to be honest. But anyway, at least I know that Mega Man X4 is a lot more interesting. So we had to get through Mega Man 4 and to get to the good shit. So the next review I'll do will be Mega Man X4. So would I recommend Mega Man 4? Not really. Just play one of the better Mega Man games, like 2 or 9, and just avoid this one. If this is one of your favorites, then cool. I just wasn't all that impressed going back and doing it. It's the formula is there, and the stuff that's presented is just... There, outside of Skullman, there's nothing I can really suggest that just would stand up to other Mega Man games. Because Mega Man 9 at least has Bounce Pad and Bounce Man, right? Mega Man 7 has like the tire level that does all the jumpy stuff, jumpy shit and the bouncy shit and all the crazy stuff, even if the music's kind of, or Shade Man being a Castlevania level kind of thing. Mega Man 4 just kind of sits in that, we've been here and we're doing the thing. It's enjoyable for like an hour sort of thing. It kills you an hour. That seems fair. But anyway, that'll do it for this review. And sorry I was a little terse and meh on it, but that's just my opinion on things. Some Mega Mans are better than others. Let's see. Speaking of, Mega Man X4, one of the better Mega Man X games. So everything will balance out. See, I'm not an angry person. Castlevania Seasons 1 through 4. Legend of Zelda, Link Between Worlds, and Violet Evergarden. And in between those, including next week, will be reviews of anime stuff. So I'll call it a kind of a shorter video today, and I'll see you guys next time. Citizen Strife, signing off.